Essential Water, Essence of Life and Health. A proven guide to understand the impact of water on your health and how to choose the best type of water for you and your family. Written by Micah Bright. Narrated by Mark Lancaster. Introduction. What is water? We believe we know water. We absorb it from practically everything we eat or drink. We use it for swimming, washing, and floating. We hope it will start or wish it would stop falling on our heads. We are aware that, depending on the heat and perspiration, we must drink several liters of it every day. Otherwise, we would be driven and then tormented by thirst. We are aware that everything that leaves our body, including breath, tears, and spit, contains water. We are aware that we have to bring our pets and cattle to water each day, and that we must water our plants in the event that rain fails. We are aware that most things that are moist and plump are alive, while most things that are dry and shriveled are either dead or in the process of becoming living again after being exposed to water. We are aware that rivers have a downward flow, contain fish, and are inhabited by otters and platypuses. We are aware of the ocean's size, strength, and the presence of sharks and whales. Since we sprinkle water on the ground or dab it on our hair during rituals, we are aware of the power and symbolism of water. Without actually thinking about it, we are rather knowledgeable about water. We are intuitively aware of its vital role in physiology due to perspiration and thirst, ecology due to fish and farming, magic due to rituals and dreams, economics due to the fact that we frequently have to purchase it, and power due to our susceptibility to people in positions of control. However, this common experience only represents a small portion of the reality of water and our relationship to it, as well as our shared effort to comprehend and utilize it in all of its forms. Water has been on Earth for a very long time, and the evolution of the planet has always depended on its unique characteristics. However, how did the material arrive here in such enormous and fortuitous amounts, and where did it come from? Broadly speaking, water should be common because its molecules are composed of atoms of two of the most common elements of ordinary matter in the universe: oxygen, which is the third most common element after helium at 23%, and hydrogen, which makes up 75% of all elements. Moments after the universe first began, hydrogen emerged from the primordial chaos of the Big Bang. However, complex thermonuclear events deep within stars are where oxygen and all the other elements with larger and heavier atoms originated considerably later in time. All the elements within these stars were dispersed far into space when they eventually perished, with the larger ones exploding as supernovas like SN 2006 GY, the brightest ever observed. There, they gathered via the gradual pull of gravity into successive star generations, whirling clouds that would eventually give rise to planets and all the other solid entities in the universe, including comets and asteroids. It so happened that some of these clouds held more water than others, and that certain clouds had the ideal conditions to hold onto their water after they had collapsed to become solid. A big planet's strong gravitational field would hold it in place, and the water wouldn't split back into individual hydrogen and oxygen atoms if there wasn't enough radiation from neighboring stars. Water would have eventually disappeared if there had been enough radiation because the lighter hydrogen atoms would have generally drifted off into space, leaving oxygen to mix with other elements. Water would remain on the solid planet as well at low enough temperatures, since rock and deep frozen water are immobile until they warm up. It appears plausible that at least some of Earth's water arrived during the early stages of the planet's formation when comets attacked it. However, there is evidence for an alternate mechanism as well, according to which tiny comets composed only of water are still bombarding Earth's atmosphere. Hundreds of what appear to be very high-altitude holes or vapor trails can be seen in everyday ultraviolet satellite photographs of the Earth's atmosphere. A group led by Louis Frank a physics professor at the University of Iowa and a world expert on violent charged particles, plasma, and auroral imaging of the Earth and other planets in the solar system, has been examining these photographs since the mid-1980s. The photos were interpreted by Frank and his colleagues as depicting the fragmentation of tiny comets. They imagined these as loosely packed, 20 to 40-ton snowballs that, approaching Earth, disintegrate due to fast electrostatic erosion before vaporizing in the high atmosphere. Whichever cosmic mysteries and fortune made the Earth the blue planet, it is teeming with life because of it. Our planet is also said to exist in the Goldilocks zone, which has many implications. Earth is far and near enough to the Sun that water can exist in all three phases on the Earth's surface. Entrepreneur Elon Musk is on a mission to terraform Mars, but it's not easy. While there is water on Mars, it is problematic when it comes to supporting life. The life-giving substance that we take for granted is something of a wonder. In order for this water to make its way into our homes, it has to go through various infrastructure and processes. There is also the fact that most of the Earth's surface is covered in salt water, and we humans are freshwater creatures. Therefore, it takes a lot of engineering to make water accessible and convenient. This means that our water can pick up contaminants along the way and become compromised. This book is a guide on what measures we can take to make sure that our drinking water is not only safe to drink, but also improves our health. You will come across different types of water that you probably haven't heard of before, and be informed about the different systems and equipment that you can buy to treat your water. You will also be provided with additional resources. You will be informed and entertained, but mostly, you will walk away with a new appreciation for this wonderful substance. Bob Macaulay writes in The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water, "The person who is hydrated is always healthier, is less toxic, is more energetic, functions more efficiently overall, retains less water in the extremities, legs, feet, hands, is more mentally alert, is less prone to disease, is better able to fight off disease of every kind." Let's find out why. Chapter 1. Understanding the Significance of Water for Our Health. A young seminary student in Dillingen, Bavaria, was near death in the fall of 1849. The young man, who was once strong, had lost weight. Something rattled him. A cough. His sheets were saturated with sweat every night. He frequently discovered blood on his pillow in the morning. Sebastian Knipe was the student. He was the impoverished son of a weaver from a little Bavarian hamlet. He suffered greatly from the shift from his hamlet to the cramped, unhygienic surroundings of the seminary and hostel. The previously fit young man developed tuberculosis due to a lack of exercise, a fresh diet, and fresh air. Throughout the 19th century, tuberculosis was widespread and incurable. Sebastian Knipe frantically looked through the seminary library for treatment for consumption after his doctors had given up on him and he was on the verge of death. He happened to come across an old pamphlet that suggested a cold water remedy. With little to lose, he took the booklet's recommendation and dove into the frigid Danube River 3 times a week. He went home to bed without taking off his clothes because he didn't have a towel. To the amazement of professors, doctors, and other pupils, this inhumane treatment worked on him and healed him. Later on, he created a comprehensive health system that he named the 5 Pillars of Health. The world and Europe were overtaken by this natural system. At the time, Sebastian Knipe was listed as one of the most influential individuals in the world by the Washington Post. We've come a long way since the days of consumption. Modern-day medical interventions have made tuberculosis an easily treatable disease, with no icy-cold Danube swimming necessary. What Knipe's story points us to is the importance of water for our overall health. In this chapter, we go into depth on the importance of water, what happens when we don't get enough of it, and how important it is for detoxification. The importance of hydration. Oceans gave rise to all life, and the sea is still present in our cells today. Considering that water makes up over 70% of our bodies, it is by no means a minor component in maintaining overall health. Water, both within and outside of our bodies, heals and rejuvenates us because of our oceanic past. The salinity of each of our cells is now precisely the same, 0.9%, as it was the first time a membrane with nucleic acids developed around some salt water to form a cell. After emerging from the oceans over 4 million years ago, our ancestors eventually gave rise to upright humans as we know them today. However, we can never venture far from water. What then can be accomplished by one basic oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms that make up the water molecule H2O? Hydrogen and oxygen atoms are arranged polarly in water molecules. Hydrogen has a positive electrical charge and oxygen has a negative one. This means that the water molecule is able to draw in a wide variety of other molecules, including salt, NaCl. Because hydrogen attracts negative chloride ions and negative oxygen attracts positive sodium ions, water can dissolve salt. Hydrophilic substances are those that dissolve readily, such as sugar and salt, whereas hydrophobic substances are those that don't like oil. All this is to say that water is an excellent solvent that facilitates the movement of dissolved materials, particularly minerals, throughout the body, which is why it is so beneficial. Furthermore, the electrical and magnetic properties of water are vital to the operation of cells. We can live for a few weeks without food, but only a few days without water. We can only be blessed with regeneration, both inside and outside, by water. Not only can it improve our mood, but it can also enhance our appearance. Every cell in the body needs water to carry out critical metabolic and hormonal processes. Within your body, water fulfills numerous vital functions, maintaining the body's pH, acidity-alkalinity balance, lubricating joints and cushioning intervertebral discs, creating chemical and enzymatic reactions within the body, regulating body temperature, and many other functions, thereby promoting balance, harmony, and health. Transporting molecules from the outside to inside your body, digestion, thereby nourishing your body, eliminating toxins from your body, and making blood circulation possible. The word hydration has been used intentionally in the title of this subsection. Hydration is not just about drinking water, but drinking enough of it to ensure that our bodies function optimally and not go to the other extreme either. Hyperhydration occurs when we drink too much water, and that also is not a good situation. You must consume the recommended amount of water each day in order to bathe your billions of cells in this beautiful fluid. Your urine will seem colorless if you drink too much water because it dilutes important body components, including salt, minerals, and electrolytes. Your urine will seem dark because your kidneys will be unable to flush away waste items if you drink too little water. When is enough enough? For an individual of average height and weight, 7 cups of water per day is a general estimate of the appropriate amount. You'll need more when exercising or when the weather is hot. When you get the perfect balance, your urine should be pale yellow. The impact that adequate hydration will have on your body is just astounding. You'll be able to focus more clearly and get rid of the mental fog that so many of us experience. Dehydration can often cause fatigue, but your energy will rise so that you can overcome it. Because every system in your body will perform more efficiently at the cellular level, you will have better digestion, elimination, and toxin clearance. You'll get deeper, better sleep. I'm not kidding. Allow water to accomplish what no medication or herbal treatment can. When your fascial system, muscles, and joints are well lubricated, your flexibility will increase. Unbelievably, approximately 31% of our bones are made of water. You'll get rid of edema and bloating. No ankle edema. Your wardrobe will fit more comfortably. Water makes your skin look younger and more beautiful because it adds moisture to the skin. As we optimize our waste systems, inflammation will decrease. You are aware that water eventually winds up in your stomach. There, Some of that water is passed through to your digestive system, and the rest is transferred to your bloodstream to nourish your tissues. It so happens that there are different pathways by which water gets to your organs and other parts of your body where it is required besides your bloodstream. Fascia, which are the layers of spongy tissue that surround your muscles, organs, blood vessels, nerves, and bones, in addition to being present beneath your skin, is revealed to do more than just wrap and keep your entire body together. Additionally, it has a sophisticated water distribution system that delivers water exactly where it is needed. On a larger scale, we are aware that water aids in the body's ability to fend off certain chronic illnesses. In fact, water is by far the most crucial nutrient to take into account when examining the causes of chronic problems. It unquestionably contributes to a number of health problems that we all will face as we become older. The effects of dehydration. I'm drinking a lot of water, you could be thinking. How is it even possible that I'm dehydrated? Even if we believe we drink enough water, the numerous moisture-stealing aspects of modern life are leaving us feeling mildly exhausted. If a healthy body were compared to a plant, which is rooted in nutrient-rich soil, absorbs minerals and moisture, absorbs sunlight and water, and grows abundantly, then today's dehydrated bodies would be like withered leaves and dry, shriveled stalks. Humans are said to lose 2 to 3 liters, or 60 to 100 ounces, of water every day as a result of respiration, perspiration, bowel movements, and urine. Keep in mind the proverb that states, "What goes in must come out." To keep our bodies in a state of homeostasis, or equilibrium, the delicate balance of water lost from the body and water taken in must be maintained. Your brain releases hormones to shift water from non-life-sustaining places in order to maintain the proper function of more vital organs, such as your heart, liver, and brain, if you aren't replenishing that lost water. It is quite possible to suffer from low-grade dehydration without realizing it because thirst is not always an early warning sign of the condition. Dehydration can occur without you being even remotely aware of it. Consider an average workday at the office when you hardly get out of your chair and might even order takeout for lunch. Your body finds it difficult to flush out waste materials and get water into your cells while you are sedentary for extended periods of time. Because sitting reduces the amount of water in our bodies, we are physically becoming dehydrated. Dehydration can have a significant effect even at very tiny levels. Cognitive decline is detectable at levels as low as 2%. That is a water loss of less than 1 liter, or roughly 33 ounces. Just enough to make you lose some of your senses. A sense of appreciation is low, and anxiety decreases. Life has lost its vibrancy. Those are effects when your brain is only 2% dry, and most of us experience that at some point in our lives. We frequently experience low-grade dehydration by 3 o'clock and near emptiness by 9 o'clock. We dry out repeatedly, daily, throughout our lives. Aging is accelerated daily by this. You can get sick from dehydration in practically every way possible. Consider joint pain, migraines, and post-surgical pain. Recent studies conducted by eminent universities, top medical facilities, and even the U.S. Army demonstrate that even a little hydration can exacerbate these types of symptoms. It also makes it difficult for you to concentrate and makes you feel hungrier. The best indicator of dehydration isn't always thirst. Often, when we're feeling tired or have a headache coming on, we should be drinking instead of thinking we should eat. According to research, these negative symptoms are likely your brain's internal alarm system, alerting you to the need for immediate water. Your odds of being dehydrated are high if you're experiencing headaches, irritability, lack of focus, or other unpleasant symptoms. Furthermore, issues go beyond feeling dizzy and having a dry mouth. According to research, dehydration is implicated in many, if not most, illnesses. Dehydration is directly linked to a wide range of symptoms. These complaints include migraines and other types of headaches, fatigue and weakness, both general and associated with illnesses such as fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, insomnia, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, acid reflux, dementia, especially Alzheimer's disease. Cardiovascular disease. Would you believe that your blood vessels can be affected by even slight dehydration, as little as a 2% decrease in hydration levels in the same manner that smoking cigarettes does? It is accurate. According to a study from the University of Arkansas, young men who don't drink enough water quickly see a reduction in their endotheliums, the lining of their blood vessels, capacity to dilate and contract, two processes that are critical for normal blood flow. Imagine the consequences for those of us who are older or have heart disease risk factors like diabetes if that is what occurs to those in perfect health. It should come as no surprise that even mild dehydration increases the risk of having a heart attack. Your blood thickens when its water content decreases. Healthy blood should have the consistency of wine rather than ketchup, according to cardiologist Stephen Sinatra, MD. But if you're not drinking enough water, that's just how thick your blood can get, and very rapidly. Thick blood increases the effort required by the heart to pump blood, which can weaken the heart muscle and raise blood pressure. Additionally, it compels your body to expend more energy that could be better spent in other parts of your body, including your brain, in order to get blood through your arteries and capillaries. The end consequence is a confluence of heart and blood vessel problems, together with cellular inflammation, which paves the way for cardiovascular disease. Diabetes. You're already more likely to become dehydrated if you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes. This is due to the fact that elevated blood sugar levels, or hyperglycemia, can result from your body's inability to produce insulin, as in type 1 and advanced type 2 diabetes, or from your body's insensitivity to insulin, type 2. Why is that a problem? Your kidneys will attempt to eliminate elevated blood sugar from your system by producing more urine. You guessed it, dehydration is the result of overurinating. It's a vicious cycle. When your blood is thicker and less hydrated, your blood sugar levels are likely to rise since there isn't enough water in your system to dilute all that sugar. This can cause you to become even more dehydrated, which can cause more issues with blood sugar. When your body starts burning fat for energy and releases large amounts of potentially poisonous blood acids called ketones, it can lead to a dangerous condition known as ketoacidosis. This disease is caused by excessively high blood sugar and low insulin levels. When you are chronically dehydrated, the little water you drink goes directly to your brain, which is possibly the organ most important to your survival. As a result, your blood's water content decreases, which raises blood sugar levels through a number of metabolic processes. Your health won't likely be harmed if this just occurs sometimes. Nevertheless, chronically elevated blood sugar levels brought on by dehydration, when it persists day after day and week after week, harm your body's delicate cells. They become less sensitive to the effects of insulin as a result. That's insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes can develop from it really quickly. Digestion. Increasing your water consumption and eating more meals high in water will help ease your digestive troubles, regardless of whether you have cramps or constipation on a regular basis. Possibly the main cause? Water and meals heavy in water, like veggies and chia, also aid in the softening of stool and your food during digestion. These foods are also strong in fiber, which aids in digestion. Additionally, soft stool helps you get rid of waste without straining or using laxatives, since it moves through your system more quickly and easily, reducing bloating and stomach pain. Since laxatives themselves dehydrate, they counteract this effect by retaining water, which makes bloating worse. In Dr. Batman Gelidge's book, Your Body's Many Cries for Water, he describes how water can also help with more severe digestive problems like acid reflux or ulcers. Batman Gelidge had spent the latter part of the 1970s as a political prisoner in Iran. Using nothing but water and electrolytes in the form of salt or sugar, he treated and cured many of his fellow inmates during that period, many of whom had peptic ulcer disease. Adequate water consumption is essential if you suffer from a chronic digestive issue such as Crohn's disease, colitis, or irritable bowel syndrome. These disorders induce diarrhea, which causes your body to lose more water than it would normally. Deep vein thrombosis. When a blood clot forms deep in your veins, usually in one of your legs, you may get deep vein thrombosis, DVT. Travelers are the ones who are most commonly affected, but other factors that increase your risk include being pregnant, taking estrogen-based birth control, being overweight or obese, being elderly, having poor circulation in your lower legs, or having recently undergone surgery. DVT is a dangerous illness that can result in pulmonary embolisms, which are frequently fatal blocks of blood vessels in the lungs. Two ways that drinking water can prevent DVT are by preventing blood clots and thickening by making you feel the urge to urinate more frequently. That's why it's crucial to drink lots of water instead of alcohol-containing drinks that dehydrate you when you're traveling by automobile or flying. This also applies if any of the previously listed DVT risk factors apply to you. Pulmonary disorders. Water maintains the lubrication and proper operation of all the internal organs of your body, including your lungs and airways. Water thins the mucous membrane lining your throat and lungs. A proper amount of mucus aids in the body's processing and removal of toxins, pollutants, and other chemicals that may be harmful to the lungs, both healthy lungs and those with conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, COPD. Thick, unhealthy mucus filters fewer chemicals that hinder breathing, which is why dehydration exacerbates COPD as chronic bronchitis or emphysema. Breathing becomes more difficult due to airway inflammation, which may be exacerbated by dehydration. Cognition. You do indeed wish to get healthier. However, the majority of us are genuinely driven to act by the need to feel better. And there are many ways that water can help you with that. Drinking water can help you feel clearer and more focused nearly instantly if you've observed this. People with mild dehydration had decreased concentration levels and did poorly on tests measuring focus and cognition. On the other hand, when they were completely hydrated, they did well on these tests. People's moods were also affected by dehydration. There is a connection between the onset of Alzheimer's disease and prolonged dehydration. We now know that diabetes and Alzheimer's share pathophysiology, and a number of medical professionals are now referring to Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes. Insulin resistance, inflammation, oxidative stress, obesity, and metabolic syndrome are a few of the causative factors. We think that staying hydrated is the first line of defense against all of these threats. One of the main factors contributing to the onset of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and even Alzheimer's disease is chronic low-grade dehydration. The first line of treatment for preventing numerous illnesses, including concussions, also known as mild traumatic brain injury, or TBI for short, is adequate and appropriate hydration. This is such a significant matter, particularly in light of children and sports. The consistency of your brain is like gelatin. Cerebrospinal fluid within your skull protects it from regular knocks and bumps. Your brain may slam against the inside walls of your skull in a forceful blow to your head, neck, or upper body. A sudden collision or fall, for example, can also induce abrupt acceleration or deceleration, which might result in brain damage. More water equals greater protection and cushioning. Our ERs are overworked when it comes to mild TBI. ER visits for concussions resulting from sports-related injuries have sharply increased. Athletes' pre-existing decreased brain resilience as a result of widespread environmental pollutants and dietary deficiencies may be connected to the rise in sports-related concussions. These illnesses represent the body's incapacity to reestablish balance and result in an increased susceptibility to what would previously be considered innocuous concussions. In these new circumstances, staying hydrated is essential for both defense and water's primary purpose of preserving homeostasis. Chronic pain. At least 1 in 5 people have chronic pain, and many more get it occasionally. Water consumption can be a preventative measure as well as a treatment for dehydration, which is known to be the cause of some pains, such as migraines and cramping muscles. However, hydration can still be beneficial in more complicated pain situations like acute injuries, joint aches, and menstrual cramps. Studies reveal that dehydration exacerbates the discomfort you're feeling. It is logical. Water is diverted when you're dehydrated. It goes directly to your heart, brain, and other essential organs that require water to survive, as opposed to your tissues and joints. This can lead to waste products like lactic acid building up, stiffening of the tissues and joints, and inflammation that can cause discomfort. Furthermore, proper water reduces pain levels by calming down brain activity connected to pain, while dehydration increases it. Water's role of detoxification in the body. Not getting the full amount of rest or deep sleep you want? Join the club. In any given week, almost half of all Americans don't get enough sleep. However, taking a tablet isn't a permanent answer, and using sleep aids has a number of hazards. Instead of taking the medication, drink water. Many fundamental health benefits of water on sleep are provided. First off, it prevents snoring, which can disturb your sleep by keeping your mouth and nasal passages wet. Even if you don't remember it the next day, leg cramps can wake you up. Avoid them by being properly hydrated. Water consumption during the day is crucial for improving sleep quality at night, even if you don't often find yourself sawing logs or waking up with a Charlie horse. The majority of our body's detoxification process happens when we're asleep, and the key component of that detoxifying process is water. Sleep is so restorative because of this. Your operating system is actually cleaner and more efficient when you wake up. Your body moves more important bodily fluids, such as interstitial and cerebrospinal fluid, through your lymphatic system, brain, spine, and other important regions when you sleep. This increase in fluid flow aids in the removal of toxins and certain metabolites from your body and brain, including beta-amyloid protein, a factor in Alzheimer's disease. The procedure functions better the more hydrated you are. Thankfully, you don't need to down 2 liters of water before bed to sleep better. You're already taking adequate steps to support your body's detoxification and promotion of restorative, deep sleep if you choose hydrated foods and drink water throughout the day. Sleep and beauty go hand in hand. You've probably heard the expression, "get your beauty rest" a million times. This aphorism has a new meaning, and that meaning is detoxification. Scientists were taken aback when a whole drainage system concealed in specific brain cells was discovered. Though it only removes waste from the brain, this system functions similarly to the lymphatic system. It is referred to as the glymphatic system. Similar to the nocturnal sanitation team, it increases flow by 60% when people are sleeping. It seems as though our minds utilize this ideal moment to clear out clutter after being freed from thought traffic. Knowing exactly when and how the brain clears waste and activates the lymphatic system is a critical first step in efforts to make it work more efficiently potentially. The experts are working on this. Sufficient quantities of hydration are necessary for all of this circulation and flow. Who knew that part of our hydration tale included reclining down, shutting our eyes, and nodding off. Water does not just detoxify our bodies through sleep, it also does so through sweat. Exercise and sports ought to be a regular part of your day. Some people exercise somewhat more than others, and some people sweat slightly more than others. Some sweat much more. Gym addicts also need to pay more attention to their water. That's why it's so fantastic. While we don't give sweat the respect it deserves, it is an extremely important and intricate outflow system that works with numerous other bodily networks. Sweating is an energy-intensive and complicated process. Your kidneys alone have the capacity to burn around 400 calories per day, depending on your body's resting metabolic rate, i.e., how many calories you burn while at rest. A large portion of this energy is used to maintain the proper balance of fluid intake between your body's cells and organs. Your body's natural thermostat relies on sweating to help you cool off quickly and prevent overheating of your tissues, blood, and organs. One of the numerous ways your body naturally detoxifies is by sweating, which aids in the removal of some substances from your bloodstream. Additionally, it serves as a vehicle for your body's natural pheromones, or sex hormones, that have a scent and affect who you attract and are drawn to. The dermis, or layer of skin just beneath the portion of your skin that is touchable, contains glands that create sweat. Although sweat glands are found throughout your body, they are most likely concentrated in your forehead, armpits, palms, and soles of your feet. Sweat's precise makeup varies from day to day and from individual to person. However, 99% of it is water. What makes up the remaining 1%? In addition to ammonia, sugar, and trace amounts of minerals like calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron, zinc, copper, and some water-soluble vitamins, the electrolytes include sodium and chloride. Not only must we replace water loss through perspiration, but we also need to replace electrolytes. This is ideally addressed by adding some natural sea salt to our water bottles. Water can also help detoxify our bodies from the outside in. Ninth, with whom we began this chapter, stumbled upon this discovery. While this book is focused on drinking water, I would be remiss not to mention that immersing our bodies in water can detoxify us. Immersion in cold water enhances the body's natural healing process. By eliminating sweat, grime, dead skin cells, bacteria, and viruses, cold water has further benefits. Further defenses against cancer and infections. Increase your metabolism to combat type 2 diabetes, obesity, gout, rheumatic disorders, depression, and more. Boost your mood and motivation. Give your glands, thyroid, adrenals, ovaries, and testes a boost. Normalize blood pressure. Reduce chronic pain. Strengthen tired, irritative nerves. Train and enhance blood circulation. Detoxify your body. Combat lethargy, repair and tone your skin, and deepen your breathing. Help with sleeplessness, enhance kidney function, diminish edema and swelling, boost the immune system through controlled lymphatic circulation, reduce stress by controlling your automatic nervous system, control body temperature, preventing excessive perspiration and chronically cold hands and feet, maintain healthy hair, improve hemorrhoids and varicose veins, and lessen aches and pains. In addition to its diuretic effects, taking a saltwater warm bath detoxifies the body, improves circulation and blood flow to the skin, eases joint and muscular aches, and calms and sedates dry, itchy skin. In actuality, it treats or resolves a variety of persistent skin issues as well. Water has the ability to smooth stones and create canyons, so consider the potential benefits it could have on your health if the water you drink is of the highest quality. Water has power that should never be undervalued. Your health might be significantly improved simply by taking the time to understand the different qualities of water and how they might affect you. In the next chapter, we explore these differences.